you guys for coming. Tonight we're here to talk to you about iJAG for America's Graduates. We're really excited to be here. Thank you to Dee and Pete for inviting us to chat with you all. My name is Carly Harper. I'm the Director of Development for iJAG for America's Graduates, and I have with me my colleague, Angela De La Riva, and Alma Bernal. Yeah. Alma's one of our alumni from our iJAG programs here in Iowa City, and so before we jump into even what iJAG is, we're going to turn it over to Alma to kind of tell you a little bit about her experience with us as a program in the schools and what she's up to now.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Yeah. So my name is Alma. I went to City High. I graduated in 2017, and so my class was the first pilot class for like the 9th, 10th section of iJAG. It was very interesting. I did not know what I was getting myself into when I signed up for the class. Sarah Richardson was like, "Hey, you should take this," and so I was like, "Okay." And Sarah, I met Sarah back in middle school, but she stayed with me through like high school and was a really big support for me. iJAG going into 9 and 10 really built my confidence, just kind of learning about what's out there and then figuring out why high school is important, for the future. And then once I got to the 11th, 12th section of the class, my specialist at the time was Elizabeth Rook, and she was newer to iJAG, but she really made a big impact on me in the sense that she was the reason why I went to college, truly. I went to college up in Mount Mercy in Cedar Rapids, and if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be today, honestly. My plan was to go to Kirkwood Community College and then transfer to University of Iowa and then see what happened there, but I really did not have a plan. And then she said, "Hey, there's a college up, at Mount Mercy," and other iJAG students had gone as well too and got a really great scholarship. I had no idea what college even was. I didn't know the process of like applying and scholarships and paying for it, living in the dorms or anything like that. If it wasn't really for my specialist, she pushed me to apply, and I didn't even want to apply because I was like, I don't think this is the path for me. I didn't think it was like realistic for me, and she still pushed me. She's like, just because you apply doesn't mean they're gonna go there. They may even say no. But I did, and then I got in. We did a visit of the campus, and she went with me, which was really cool. But then I really got serious about, okay, what is my path going to look like once I am there? And so throughout that senior year, we were just, talking about different things, and they brought in a lot of like representatives of other colleges as well too, that I was able to learn about those opportunities, even though I kind of had my mindset of going to Mount Mercy. But I remember there was times where, they brought in like different people in different careers. They brought in the National Guard, and so there was things that we were exploring there. My older sister is also iJAG alumni, so partly another reason why I was in iJAG. And she joined the Guard too, and is now like that's her passion, and she loves it. And then my younger sister Laura, she was also in iJAG, so we all been through it. And we all had different experiences because we're all in different places in our lives right now, but the support that comes out of it was really, really impactful. My youngest sister, unfortunately, didn't want to go through iJAG, but it's because she had seen us all build those skills, and we weren't able to teach her those skills, right? And so she didn't necessarily feel the need to be part of it, even though we told her we should do it. But I went to Mount Mercy thinking that I was going to be a nurse. I started out as a nursing major. And then 2 years into the program, I was like, this is not for me. This is too hard. I can't. It was just a lot of stress. And then even though I was at Mount Mercy, I still stayed connected with my specialist. She was texting me every month, hey, just checking in, how's your experience going? So it was the support support was there even beyond iJAG. And she checked on me about my financial aid, my classes, you know, visiting home because I would get homesickness even though I'm only 30 minutes away. But when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do instead of nursing, my specialist connected me to different people who were in different fields, and then I finally settled on social work. So I graduated from Mount Mercy in 21 with my social work degree, and I actually started working as an admissions counselor there. And it was really cool as an admissions counselor because I connected with the schools here in Iowa City and connected with the different JAG specialists, and I was like, hey, I came here, it was a really great opportunity, you should bring your JAG classes. And so I helped organize the JAG classes to come do like a campus tour, ask questions, meet different students on campus. And so that was really like full circle moment for me to be able to kind of give back to the program that helped me. And fast forward to now, I work at the University of Iowa. I'm an academic coach there. So I help support a lot of students who look like me or have the same experiences as me or similar experiences as well too. So I'm able to really be in a full circle moment because now I'm in Iowa City where I see people who go to City High or have younger siblings I went to school with too, and so it's really become a big full circle journey for me. So yes, and so recently I applied to get my to the Master's of Social Work, so I got admitted, and so hopefully this summer, fingers crossed, I figure everything out. I will start my Master's in Social Work degree. So, and it'll only take me 2 years. So.
Also, it took me 3 years, so you're doing it much faster than I did. I think we're gonna jump into what iJAG is. This is where Angela's gonna take over.
Yeah. I was a show choir kid, so I'm gonna use the whole stage.
I'm not dancing.
Yeah, I might start dancing. So yeah, as Carly said, I'm Angela Del Riva. I am the fundraising officer for the organization. I think I'm on day 99. So pretty better. Yeah, but like Alma kind of said, so we are the state affiliate of the National JAG program. Our founder started us in 1999. We had 6 programs. 6 programs in the Des Moines metro area. Yeah. And so now, 24 years later, we have 139 programs all across the state. And our goal is this year to grow the programs by 50. So we'll hopefully be around that 200 mark by the end of 2023, which means Carly and I have a lot of work to do. But it's fine, we're not talking about it yet. But so what we do is we really focus on that child no matter what. So we go into the classrooms. We're a very unique creature in that aspect. So we are in the really 7 through 12 classrooms, depending on the school district. And then we have our specialists who use trauma-informed care and project-based learning to help that kid. So what we're doing is trying to identify the kids that need a little help, and we help them explore career paths. We help them explore maybe college is their answer, and then we kind of help them figure out how to navigate that, get them on track to graduate, get them graduated, and then follow them for 12 months after. That's kind of iJAG. The short. Yeah, so these are our programs that we have. So again, 100. That says 29, but
That was our latest update.
that was our latest update. So it is 139. I promise. I've counted them all several times. So you can see we're kind of all over Iowa. And obviously, in the next 3, 4, 5 years, we want to be in every school district in the state. So. Are you going to use the stage?
No.
Okay, I'm going to stay over here and bounce my head.
Almost going to keep me in line, actually. As Angela said, there's 3 really pillars that started here in Iowa, and now the national organization has adopted, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about each one, but truly at the core of what we do is really helping young people like Alma, and really, if it had been around when I was Alma's age, helping young people find themselves, just feel okay in their own skin, and the way we do that is through trauma-informed care, and really asking good questions about what's happening in your world, what can we help you with, how do we connect you with resources, all of those things. that are welcoming and that every kid belongs in. And the cool part about it, as we'll keep talking, you'll see kind of the intersection of all of these pieces, but as Angela said, the way that we go about that is we have some competencies. There's 7 big boulders of competencies that we work with our students on, and those are things like work-based learning, critical thinking, creative decision-making, all of those pieces that are really relevant within workforce, but also bring really life and color to the things that you're doing in the classroom. And not surprisingly, lots of them are centered around how do we help you with some of those life skills. Lots of our students are fairly independent or are trying to be, and so we do that. And then finally, we connect them with employers in the classroom. And so here in Iowa City, we have programs at West, at City, and then also at Liberty. I think we're in year 2 of Liberty. And then just to your north, we have Prairie, Cedar Rapids, Wash. You guys are quizzing me right now, and you don't even know it. Jefferson Middle School, Jefferson High School. And so we have lots of programs throughout the corridor. And so this is a well-established, actually right after Des Moines launched back in 1999, we started sort of growing programs in our more metro areas throughout the state. Anyways, the place where all of these 3 things kind of combine is in that center, where if you're really caring about that kid, you're also letting them lead some of the projects that were happening in the classrooms, and you're bringing in relevant employers or colleges that matter most to them, and helping them kind of just navigate that by becoming a facilitator in the classroom. And so there's lots of opportunities for businesses and community organizations and colleges, as I mentioned, to engage with us. I'm going to see which ones I've already captured in some of my chit-chattiness here. So these are really talking about the benefits to the students and things that we track in terms of our data, but certainly some of our students are struggling academically, and so we dedicate 1 day a week to really helping them catch up on any assignments, talking to some of their other instructors or teachers, helping them test better, whatever the case might be, in terms of really helping make sure that they cross the stage and get that first critical credential, which is their high school diploma. We also, just like an FFA or a Business Professionals of America, we have what we call the Career Association. Is our student organization. So, were you a class officer, Alma? What were you?
I can't even remember.
She was the president. That's what we're going to say. So in each of our programs, we have career associations where their peers vote them into an elected position, and they become the leaders that actually help us identify sort of the context of those projects that are happening in the classroom. They identify community projects that our students can do throughout. Sometimes it's within their school, sometimes it's out in the broader community. It just really depends. And then also, those class officers will help, as a program, kind of determine what are the things that the students are interested in exploring. Certainly, so most of my time throughout, I've been with iJAG now almost 7 years, has been not so much in the day-to-day in the classroom, but truly in the building of relationships with our employer partners. And what's really amazing about iJAG is that I could walk into a program not being their specialist, and there is a community where everyone is welcome. There is a sense of belonging for everyone, and I sort of get the pass because I've been wearing an iJAG pin or my name tag or whatever, but certainly a sense of belonging. For as much time as we spend with our students creating that environment, we spend an equal amount of time with employer partners of, hey, here's how you can serve your current employees and even prospective employees better by creating that same sense of teamwork, that same sense of belonging, and making sure that everyone feels like they're well supported within their occupations, their teams, whatever the case might be. And then we've already talked about the project-based learning piece. So the ways that students get involved with us, and I know Alma's story about I kind of fell into it is really common, I would say, especially in the first year of a program, because no one really knows what we're there to do in the first few months. But we look for students that need the program, that want to be there. It's an elective course. You're choosing to be here, and we believe you can be a leader in the school, and so we want you there. And so then can that student benefit from it? As I look across all of the districts in Iowa, many, many students could benefit from a program like this. There are just simply things that we cover in our classrooms, like doing your taxes. We're in tax season, so that's why it came to me. That are not necessarily covered in regular curriculum throughout the school maybe you guys were well behaved, I don't know. But this is really the framework of how we engage employers in our classrooms, and this is the part that Dee knows really well because she's gone with us to many, many employers throughout the years and talked to them about, first and foremost, we're going to bring you into our classroom so that you can meet our kids, so that you can ask them questions and hear about each other. One of two things happens when we bring employers in. They either A, have a lot in common with our students, or they might not have a single thing in common, but they can learn from each other. And so that first part is lots of exploration from the student, but it's also relationship building. And again, I'm a social worker just like Alma is, and so while it may seem warm and fuzzy, from an employer standpoint, this is a really low cost, low investment way that I can better get to know a future workforce. And so from that place of relationship, we then move into that circle two, which is customized tours where we go and talk to people in companies who have interesting stories, who look like our students, who have similar backgrounds, who have cool things like internships and registered apprenticeships happening. They have a desire to have mentors in the classroom, especially now. Businesses are really struggling, just like we were talking over dinner about school engagement. Businesses are struggling with employees being engaged in their work. And in fact, I think that I cannot remember the statistic, but the gist was that there are many, many people who are skilled at their jobs. They're not connected to a single person at their workplace. And so that's really problematic when you're trying to operate teams or you're trying to collaborate amongst departments or units. So through some of these things, we really do feel like mentorship or volunteering obviously has some engagement pieces for employer partners. It also has just an overall better sense of satisfaction within their job. And then finally, the part that I sent, which actually in my original job description was like one line item that said, hey, would you go do this thing called employer engagement? 7 years ago, has really blown up. And so now we have structured a template for internships for companies. I've helped many, many companies build their registered apprenticeship. We're on the creative side of apprenticeship, if that makes any sense at all. Just meaning that we connect to those programs and really have an understanding with the business about here's the prep work or the coursework or the whatever it is, the training that's required to enter into that registered apprenticeship. It's really fun, and right now, because every single employer that I talk to is needing a lot of help, it's really an opportune time to have some creative conversations about how do you do that well. Again, I think I get ahead of my slides because I just get too chatty about it, but yeah, so one of the benefits to employers in all of this work is that, as I said, they're building strong relationships with their prospective workforce. They also, through apprenticeships and internships, you can accelerate some of the training that make our students more marketable when they do go to apply for a job. Certainly, job placement post-high school increases when you start working with the student and show investment and commitment to that student. Increase workforce diversity. Every single company that I talk to has a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative of some sort. And again, this is a really fun time. I think it would be really cool to talk more with you on given your work too with the university about how do you do that work well, what does that look like in action, and some tangible tools that will help businesses really achieve their goals that they desire to have. And then we already talked about this, reducing employee turnover, having a better understanding about how your current employees have experienced trauma will help you retain your current employee base along with any recruits that you might have. Okay, so right now we have just a little short video that I wanted to show you all, and then I think after this that we're going to open it up to anyone that might have questions. I'll talk really fast, so you might have some questions. Let me see. Get it to go.
conference are a great way for students to dive deeper into specific areas, whereas it's less someone maybe doing a TED Talk and more of an engaging experience where a hospital can come in and students can learn how to do CPR techniques or learn the different instruments that surgeons use whenever they perform surgery. When those students can feel it and see it and do it in those breakout sessions, the impact becomes much more greater.
There's a lot of times here at Tumwa, we don't have that opportunity to be able to bring in equipment like that. And for companies to have that time to devote to us. So for us to be able to have students go there and be able to have that hands-on experience is huge. The goals that I have for students in iJAG is for them to be able to experience a variety of jobs, volunteer opportunities, and career opportunities post-education. There are a variety of barriers that they can have that we have helped them overcome. And it could be from home, it could be academic, it could be anxiety or some disabilities. It could be a variety of things that we work with them on.
It first starts with that relationship and making time for those students, and then exposing them to different industries like healthcare or IT or skilled trades, where they drive past those businesses and clinics every day, but they have no idea maybe all the opportunities that lie in those buildings. And so that's where iJAG can come in, build that relationship with that student, get them on an academic pathway to success, but then expose them to all the different industries that are out there.
It's helped me find what career exactly, pinpointing down what I want to do. I've always had the idea to go into the medical field, but there's so many different jobs within that one field, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what you want to do. And through iJAG, I've gotten to basically be forced, not in like a bad way, but be forced to sit down and really think like what interests you in this field.
While I was at iJAG, I changed my career 3 times. One day we came to Indian Hills to like job shadow and look at careers, and one of the options was sports medicine. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I really like sports. Like I play softball and I play basketball, and I've always been an active kid since I was younger, so it clicked maybe I could work with kids, but as sports medicine, do physical therapy and stuff to help out other people. If it wasn't for iJAG, I'd be sitting at home right now, not even caring about school, taking a break off and never going back.
I had a general idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't quite know how to get there exactly. And Ms. Hecker, our iJAG specialist, actually pointed me in the right direction. She got in contact with the people. And then I looked at radiology, and to me that sounded like a perfect setting for what I wanted to do. And I really like bones, so looking at skeletons all day, that sounded like a job for me. And I think that if she hadn't told me about the program, I would probably be very stressed right now, trying to figure out what to do, how am I going to do this. And being an iJAG, all of that stress has been dealt with, and it's helped me a lot tremendously.
The support we've had from the Wellmark Foundation has been monumental. It's opened up doors for our students in terms of healthcare awareness. A lot of our students sometimes have a tunnel vision of what healthcare looks like, and so opening up the doors of possibilities and options for these students to learn about all the different career opportunities that healthcare provides, it's been huge for students. And we're only able to do that because of partners like the Wellmark Foundation and the connections that you guys have in the healthcare industry.
I don't know where these students would be if we didn't have businesses like that. You know, I feel very, very fortunate to have businesses like the Wellmark Foundation coming in and sponsoring students to have those experiences.
My situation at home is I'm dealing with family troubles. It can be stressful, it can get emotional, but I'm just grateful that I have so many people behind me supporting me that I don't just get to end my story, I get to actually continue. I'm glad that they came to the counselor's office and was recruiting people for iJAG, that something different, and it was something good, and that changed my life.
I don't know how to work this up here anymore. See if well, I know where we're at. We're at questions.
You might have to just hit the next button on the computer.
Oh, you got it. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Lindsay. Angela talked a little bit about our structure as an organization, in that we're an independent nonprofit who's a state affiliate of the iJAG National. We just shared this with all of our folks around. It's $1,800 a cost per student. We really do have really three major revenue streams for our organization. One of those is state funding. It's really funny, over my time here, this pie chart would have been sort of flipped, and we would have had more in our grants and our fundraising efforts, but as we've grown significantly, mostly because of our legislature and governor support in growing the program to more places. And so, yep, so we do have state funding, and each school district also puts in about anywhere between 25 and 27% of our program costs, and then the rest is really contracts that we seek out with the state, like workforce related, or we do have one contract with Voc Rehab, and then the work that Angela has ahead of her in terms of raising money. And so that is really, there we go, I knew questions was coming up soon. So that's really where we're at, and I just wanted to open it up for any questions for Alma, for myself, for Angela. And I'll bring you the mic. Oh, Pete's got a question. I'm scared.
You want me to talk about?
I don't know.
Just tell the people that are here the success rate. We'll start with the kids you identify are identified as 50% chance of graduating from high school.
Yeah.
What's your success rate?
Yeah, so as the young woman, I believe in the video, stated that she had some academic issues, she had some family issues, and really, I'm going to step out of the light, that's kind of blinding me, but really there's a mixture of students that come into our programs. There are certainly a good portion that are having some academic struggles. There are some that have what I would call situational types of things happening in their world. Maybe they've lost a parent, maybe they've had a family member that's been incarcerated, things like that. And then we have about a quarter of our students are really at risk of not graduating, and so the work is varied in that way, but our success rate, to Pete's point, has been really, really successful. For the second year in a row, we've celebrated 98% of our students graduating from high school, and out of that, 80% are achieving what we call positive outcomes, which in JAG speak, that means they're alumni like Alma, who are going on to continued education, to jobs, enlisting in the military, like your sister, right, or armed services. And so we have a 24-year history. I think that we've had about 94% of our students have been graduating over the length of that time. And so I think to what you heard in the video, and what you heard mostly from Alma, in terms of having one person who's dedicated to those students day in and day out, has just proven us time and time again that that's just, it matters so much in the lives of young people. And when you put that kind of effort into young folks, really they are successful, and we just help navigate them there, right?
The statistics, 1 year out from.
So we do track students for 12 months after they graduate, and so that's where we're tracking. Are they working? Are they going to school? Did they graduate, right? We're also, right now we're looking at, because we're really, as I mentioned, over the last 20 years plus, we've been really fairly successful at helping students graduate from high school. Our next goal really is to push ourselves on workforce-related pieces, making sure that students are, like Alma, stepping solidly into jobs that lead to what the term is sustainable wealth, and it doesn't mean that they're like sitting on a pile of cash or anything. What it means is that they're in jobs where they have benefits that they can contribute to, that they're on the path to home ownership, that they're making a livable wage. And so we've really really for the last actually longer than that, probably 3 years, we've been working at really making sure our students are solid and stepping into those places. And that's why that work around registered apprenticeship and internship, there's a ton of data that if you can get young people into those real relevant experiences, that one, there's overall satisfied with any continued ed or training that they might have, but two, that it's easier to navigate, unsurprisingly, into the jobs that I just mentioned.
Why did you mention the John Deere mowing versus Iowa?
Oh, so we have several partners. Like Walmart has been great from our video, as you said. Saw they, in addition to doing a really nice video for us, they brought partners. Similarly, John Deere, probably now 5 years ago, launched an accelerated welding certification that probably 50 of our students have gone through. And it's been really validating to have the clear partners at the table saying that the curriculum matters, that the training matters, and that our students will be successful in applying into those jobs. And so really from that model of John Deere thing, and originally to Dee's point, it started over on the Illinois side at Blackhawk College in Moline. It is a community college. We branched out into the 5 other Iowa locations for Deere, doing exactly the same thing, replicating that curriculum. And like I said, I think we've had about 50 students go through and successfully complete a MIG welding certification. We also, there was another one that Principal Financial Group also is one of our long time stepping into solidly into really great work experiences. They've ran an internship program for the last 5 years. And each year we kind of revamp it, understanding that neither one of us are perfect and prep or what does that pathway look like. And so this year it's gone from being sort of a leadership development experience into a really solid full-time work experience for students stepping into, I think there's about 4 different business units that are going to be hosting students this year. And so we have more and more of those businesses, like I said, because the need is so great, that are stepping into that realm of internships and registered apprenticeships. I think I can say this. Collins is going to be, is working with us now on a cybersecurity apprenticeship and an electrical engineering tech apprenticeship that we, along with Kirkwood and Cedar Rapids Schools, is where they're going to pilot. We'll be launching that, hopefully, the electrical engineering tech apprenticeship in the fall of 2023. I could talk about this all night long, but
I know. Tell them about the students going to the State House.
do you want to talk about legislative day?
I was going to say that, yeah. So that was really like one of the big experiences I had in iJAG was going to DC. I was fortunate enough to be chosen. I still have the news article. I clipped out the news article from Press Citizen and my picture. When you had to go to Des Moines and you competed in there with all the other iJAG programs, and then from there you got selected. I can't remember. I think it was like 20 students who got picked from that competition to go to DC and do like legislative day out there. And it was really nice because I had never flown on a plane, and so iJAG, like going to DC with iJAG was the first time I flown on a plane. And then the first time I ever was in DC, I don't know when I would, and then I got to go back with like another program, but it was really cool because my family had never been on a plane, never traveled outside of Iowa truly, and so going to DC was really like mind blowing to me. I never rode the metro before. Yeah, that was insane. But what was really cool too was that we were able to get $100 gift card for us to buy like business professional clothes, because that was something that was needed, and I didn't have business professional clothes, and so that was really cool. So I was able to go and get prepared for that, and they sent me that out there, and I learned so much like leadership skills. I was able to meet so many students, across the nation, and it was just overall a really great experience. So that was really cool.
I was going to say, so we have that event coming up, and I don't know how many kids were there when you were there. Was it over at DMAC, that big enrichment center? Do you remember?
So, yeah.
So now we're at the Iowa Event Center. We have 5 550 or more students coming. The number keeps growing of how many students that are coming. We had to have, because we had 78 now 11th and 12th grade programs, which are the ones that are in the competitions. We had prelim competitions in the region, and then we had employer partners who actually judged virtually. And then, so it'll be March 23rd this year that we'll be at the Iowa Event Center with, like I said, about 550 or more students coming to compete, just like Alma did. This year, instead of DC, JAG is going to have their national competition in Orlando. I know, you missed out on Disney. Disney World? Yeah. Right? Disney World's in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need chaperones for that, right?
Yeah, Angela's going to go as a chaperone.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably send somewhere between 20 and 25 students for our top competitors for the events that we have. But it is my favorite day. I'm glad it was your favorite day too, because it's my favorite day as a staffer of the iJAG year, because it is like the capstone of all the things our students have been working for all year long, and you really get to see them in action. And in competitions like prepared speaking, creative decision making, project-based learning is one of those. So it's really employability skills, kind of like speed interviewing. You have 3 or 4 minutes. That's what you did?
That's what I can do, yeah.
Ooh, I judge that. That's really hard. In 3 or 4 minutes, you have to sell yourself to a potential employer, and we have employers sitting in the room. So you did it, and you didn't like sweat through your jacket or anything like that, right?
No.
Okay. Any other questions that you have?
I saw that earlier that there are 5 criteria for the students.
Yeah, so JAG calls the criteria barriers. They're essentially things like we mentioned before. So it could be that we have students coming from some poorer homes. It could be academic struggles. It could be single-parent homes. It could be high numbers of absences. I was talking with our table at dinner time about how we pay attention to how often kids are coming to school or not. We hope we're the thing that might hook those that are struggling to get to school back into being engaged. And so at a minimum, our students have 5 of those things happening. Believe me, it's not hard to find five things happening in our young people's lives, unfortunately. On average, we have about 8 of those things happening, and it just really depends on geography, sort of where I've seen those numbers get lower or higher. And then also, it's part of really being trauma-informed is lots of times you'll see kids, Lori calls, our founder calls it the duck and cover, where they're trying to disappear in the school. Honestly, they'll cover up in clothing, they'll cover up in tattoos or piercings or whatever the case might be. But that's like the smoke. You have to unpeel it to get to what's going on. And so that's where a lot of that trauma-informed care piece comes into play too, so that we can really have an understanding. And again, I think I know folks my age or a little like my age and older, I'll just say, had at least one teacher that really did that work, but not, I think in some places that's challenging, not because there's bad people, but because there's just lots of things getting in the way, I think. And so we can be that one spot that really just unpeels those layers and gets to know our students, and that's what we're there to do.
So you meet with these students every day?
Yeah, so it's like a class. So you go to iJAG just like math, science, language arts, all the things. It does depend, but in most cases it's an elective credit, yep, that they're getting to be there. We're working on different ways to get into different types of coding credits and things like that. That's my side job. That's what I really want to happen, but
Now what about like when Alma graduated, where did you go to college?
I went to Mount Mercy University up in Cedar Rapids.
Okay, and did they help you with applications for students?
Yes, earlier I was saying that my iJAG specialist was the reason why I applied to that school.
Oh, that's what you call an iJAG specialist.
Yes.
yeah,
That's right.
that's essentially the teacher in the classroom. Yep.
And I think like being on this other side of like, now I'm educated and I understand what trauma-informed care is and why it matters.
Oh, you're going to live it as a social worker,
Yes,
right?
and so it's really like, truly the 5 criteria that she was talking about. Statistically, I should not have graduated. Statistically, I should not have been here, right? And so it was literally all the odds against me, but truly, like, I may have hated going to classes sometimes. I was definitely like one to skip and not necessarily think about how important education was, or how important education is. And now I'm working in education, and my dream job is to work in educational policy. And have you had, I hear myself talking back in high school, I was like, you're crazy. So it really has been a really big journey. Going to DC, like, I got to go to the White House, outside, and we got to go to John Deere headquarters and tour their facility and got some free swag, which is really cool. But it was just overall an amazing experience that I don't think I would have had I not been in that program. And like I said, I should not have graduated high school, let alone college. And now here we are going, hopefully this semester I'll start my master's degree. So it's been a long journey.
I have more question than rather than a comment, more than a question. After hearing about what you've done, I think what you do is vitally important. You're saving some kids who otherwise would perhaps have had outcomes. Why on earth don't the schools do this?
That's a really great question. And there is a long list of answers I think you would get. We do have, as Angela said, we've actually been recommended it sometimes from our legislators and other folks to have iJAG in every middle and high school throughout the state to really support schools in that way. I think that the thing that we can do, because moving a system like education is like turning the Titanic, right?
It's an iceberg.
Right, yeah, the iceberg's coming. But what I am most proud about, what we can do right now, is that I feel really good that we're influencing we're influencing the school in a very positive way. We're showing that with one supportive person, that these young people who've had all sorts of life experiences can be successful, and Alma and our other alumni are the leaders that we need in this state. They truly are, because they understand, we understand the value in life experiences and how that translates into leaders and into workforce. But I'll get off my soapbox first. A hot second to your question, I think we can really benefit in helping our schools understand trauma, understand what it's like to have community members and employers engaged in the work with you, and really leveraging those resources into your curriculum. And I'll tell one quick story, and then I'll stop. But one of my stories, when we were launching into a new district who was kind of dabbling as a district in competency-based learning, so demonstrating the skills, right? And I'll never forget an English instructor saying, "I'm not sure how I'm supposed to translate Shakespeare into competencies." And I was like, think about all the content. There's so many things related to trauma in all of Shakespeare's stuff. There's so many things related to dysfunctional families and there truly is there's value in all of those things about perseverance and resiliency. And in my head, I'll never forget that after that, I had a separate conversation, and it was like a light switch, and she had been teaching for a really long time and was a really good human who just needed to have that light switch flipped of how you bring relevance into things that you've been teaching for a long time. So I don't know that I have a perfect answer. I just know that we're there in the schools, and I have seen the ways that we're positively influencing, so that whether it's us doing that work or not, that the teachers and administrators and even our superintendents and legislators are really thinking about what should education look like.
Thank you.
I don't know. I got stories for days. I know.
I wish there were more of you.
Yeah. Well, and it's all because of Alma telling her stories. I've heard thousands of kids tell their stories, and I don't know all of the details of Alma's, but there are some kids where I listen to their stories, and I can't even. A lot of us are here because we have our own stories, right? But I can't imagine even showing up to school. It would not have been important to me. if I experienced some of the things that our young people in the state are experiencing right now. So I'm really proud that we get to be really focused on that kid no matter what, right? Oh, you've got a question? And she wants the mic.
One of the things that has been most astounding over the many years that I've been part of this group as an advisor, board member, or whatever, is that we've never had a negative response from our legislature or elected officials. They have all been supportive. It was just a matter of how much in the budget they could help with this whole thing. So in the early days, we were always hoping for $1 million.
Yeah.
And this is about 13, 14 years ago.
Well,
And,
actually,
and this year we're upwards of $11 million that the legislature is coming forward to help us grow the program. And we are being directed, like she said, that there will be legislators who want it in their district.
yeah.
And, you know, if I keep helping you grow, this is where we want it to grow.
Mhm. That's a really great point. It wasn't 13 years ago, Dee. It was my first year at iJAG. We actually saw our state appropriation cut by 4%, and I'm the fundraiser, the only one at that time. And I thought, oh my gosh. But then, like Dee said, we've really been able to grow largely because we've had significant investments from the legislature. And Dee, you're exactly right. Everyone at the Capitol, did you go to the Iowa Capitol too, Mona?
Students
Yeah, we just finished, we had 4 legislative days this year because we had so many students, and we are universally cared about and supported at the legislature. And I think one of the other benefits that we come with outcomes, like Pete asked, I should have gone with our outcomes, but I'm glad Pete asked about them. And we come with matching dollars. So Angela and I burn the tires on the iJAG cars all the time because we're wanting to find private sector investors that really care about our program and our students, and just want to be a part of that. And then that's also a reason why we can keep costs really low for our school districts, so that they can continue to grow the programs too. So
tell them about the legislative day, what the students do.
yeah, do you want to talk about that, Angela? You were just there.
I can. Yeah. So we get a lot of free labor on all those. Just kidding.
Advocacy.
Yeah, advocacy is a great way to say it. So yeah, our programs come to the Capitol. I can go this way. Work the stage. That's fine. Can't see when I stand over here. Yeah, so we go to the Capitol. We had like 180 kids.
During the last one.
Yeah, on Monday. Yeah, the day I was there. Yeah, a bunch of kids. And what we kind of prompt them to do is talk to their legislators about kind of all of it, like tell their story, tell about what iJAG means to them, and then prompt them to say, you supported us at this dollar amount, but in order to grow and reach 2,000 more kids the next year, we're asking for 3 point or more in 2024. And it's so funny because they get so nervous, and then like they learn how to call their legislators out, and they get really nervous, and then they hand them their little card and say their spiel, and they walk away and they're so pumped. Like they don't even know that they're nervous, and it's really cool watching them do that. Advocate for themselves.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll take it. And so, just to add on to that a little bit, a lot of our programs have had their local legislators into their classrooms as well, so they know we're coming. They've already met in lots of cases with some of our students, and again, I always say I grew up in nonprofits. I really, before iJAG, did not love legislative days if it's just us talking, but I do love ours because it truly is just the students telling their story about why it matters to them. That's all. And so we are currently in the budget, in the governor's recommended budget for our status quo, which was $8.2 million this year. Next year we are asking for 11.6, and so that's why Angela's sweating over it. of months, just like all the school districts around as well. You guys have good questions, huh? I don't know. Do you want the microphone, Pete?
I've made enough noise.
Okay, great.
I went to one of the state conventions, Dee brought me along. And meeting these kids, it's kind of like, without the program, I can just imagine them sitting in the back of the classroom, literally hiding. When the teacher's asking questions, they are under the desk. You know, they're not raising their hand. But iJAG kind of buffs them up and polishes them. And they are an amazing resource for the state. It's scary.
Yeah.
And to think about all the kids that don't have this opportunity, I mean, we're just wasting all kinds of talent, letting them just not progress in their lives.
Yeah, and what's kind of funny about that, Pete, is all we do is open the door. We just talk to our young folks and tell them that they are valued. We do want to listen to them, and then we do it. Truly, that's the magic in all of this, is just opening the door, telling young people that they matter, that they are the leaders we've been waiting for, because they are, and just allowing them to have some input. And that's why I think some of the pieces around project-based learning and having a career association where you have elected leaders of the program really do matter, from that engagement and just development. A number of the we ask our teachers to, our specialists to capture student stories a couple of times a year, and more often than not, it is the kids say, I was shy. Were you shy, everyone? Okay. And that is the story. I was shy, and iJAG helped me come out of my shell. But truly, it's not all that difficult if you just listen. If you just listen. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're very child-centered.
Yeah.
Rather than
Well, we get to be that as a nonprofit offering an elective course versus some of the core credit types of classes where there are some curriculum restrictions, right, and things that they're required to do. So we do get to be totally focused on that kid, and we get to be more flexible, and we focus on those soft skills that every employer on a daily basis I hear about for the last 7 years, right? So I think we're really lucky in that regard, and again, I hope that will be that positive influence within a school of like, here might be something that you can implement easily as another type of instructor too. Oh man, you guys are great. Thank you for inviting us to Pete again. We'll come back anytime. Lindsay, I can be on the regular circuit. I'll have you in. I was in too.
No, they haven't. But maybe Lindsay will get you over to West.
Maybe so. I will just say, if you have any questions, I gave out Angela's card, actually.
Give me a call, don't worry.
I know, I'm waiting on your cards coming in, so I gave out Angela's card tonight, but Dean knows how to get a hold of us as well, and I would offer that if you all wanted to have just some individual discussions about particular things, I know Dee and Pete and our other board member who's here local, Sarah Richardson, will be happy to have coffee or lunch, and they'll invite us